Ladies and gentlemen, hello, this is Debo from Landsay Go. Sorry we don't have a more professional video built for this, but it's something that happened today that we weren't prepared for because it wasn't announced. There was a surprise BNR announcement that is going to shake many formats, and it's something that I think is important for us to talk about because there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening basically starting today on August 3rd. And it's going to be something that's going to definitely affect multiple formats and how you build your decks and everything. So it needs to be talked about. Effective today, August 3rd, Standard will see a ban with Wilderness Reclamation, Growth Spiral, Teferi, Time Raveler, and Cauldron Familiar. Pioneer sees a ban with Inverter of Truth, Kethis, the Hidden Hand, Walking Ballista, and Underworld Breach. Historic sees a ban with Wilderness Reclamation, Teferi, Time Raveler, and Brawl sees Teferi, Time Raveler banned as well. So obviously Teferi is getting banned from multiple formats. We also have Wilderness Reclamation being banned from multiple formats. We have some things we need to break down here and what this is going to mean for you, the player, and how it's going to affect you. So obviously, starting out, if you're going to be playing a Wilderness Rec deck, it's gone, right? You no longer have that deck. Teferi, the stopgap that they had in there for Flash decks is now gone as well. I have a feeling that Simic Flash and Dimir Flash are going to see a resurgence. We're going to see a lot more of those decks, but we're also going to see more instant speed spells like Counterspell. You can hear my messages going off. You'll have more counter spells, you'll have more instant speed removal, and Teferi is with his banning, he completely disrupted the way you play Magic, right? Preventing you from being able to interact with your opponent. It's going to be harder for combo decks to go off. It's going to be harder for control decks to fight other control decks. It gives aggro lists a way to be able to play maybe some counter spells in their sideboards to be able to stop board wipes or things like that. It basically makes blue-white control archetype that we had that was actually a sorcery speed control deck going to move more towards the whole thing of instant speed. So Teferi being banned in Standard is a huge thing. Cauldron Familiar, I don't know if that one necessarily needed to be banned. It was seeing a lot of play, and it also put a lot of pressure on aggressive and mid-range strategies. So they basically said that they wanted to get rid of Cauldron Familiar to be able to add more deck diversity and to weaken sacrifice decks a little bit. And then Growth Spiral, Jeremy and I have been saying this for a long time, is extremely overpowered for a common. Being able to have an Explorer at instant speed that also draws you a card, and you can play any land untapped onto the battlefield is huge. So this is an extremely important one that got banned. And I mean, just take a look at it. Wilderness Rec, Growth Spiral, Teferi, and Cauldron Familiar. So your Ugin decks that run Growth Spiral are going to be worse. Your Wilderness Rec decks are going to be worse, are gone actually. Your blue-white control that runs Teferi, and then any other controller combo list that's running Teferi to be able to protect their combo is now going to be worse, and then sacrifice decks will also be worse. Hopefully this opens up the meta a little bit into more playability for other folks. That's something that's pretty huge. Now Pioneer, this is a huge one. This is one that people have been saying for a long time that needed banning. Pioneer was a great idea. It was a great place to have a format, but then all of a sudden it became the format of combo, and there wasn't enough effective ways to stop combos. It was the combos were too easy, and they didn't do anything to stop it until today. And so finally Inverter of Truth got banned. For those of you who don't know that combo, if you don't play the Pioneer format, basically Inverter of Truth takes your library and exiles it and makes your graveyard your library, and then you would win the game with something like Jace or the Oracle, Thassa's Oracle, and that's how you would win with Inverter of Truth. And it was a huge part of the meta, and they did not want to ban it for some reason, and finally it got the ban this time. So I think that's a really good thing for the Pioneer format. Pioneer was starting to lose a lot of because of all the combo, was starting to lose a lot of the player base, and so hopefully this will bring a resurgence back into that format. It's a cool one. We also have Kethis, the Hidden Hand. Again, that's a combo piece all on its own. The whole point is to be able to keep cycling through your deck, cycling through your deck, and then killing them with something like at least in standard, it was Oath of Kaya. I'm not sure if there was another one that they were using in Pioneer. I'm less familiar with that combo in Pioneer, but there's obviously a ton of legendary things in that format, so there's probably a ton of ways to be able to kill your opponent with it. And then Walking Ballista, this one was probably from the Walking Ballista Heliod combo. So the new Heliod that you can give Walking Ballista lifelink, and then it's an infinite combo from there by pinging your opponent. You gain a life, it then puts a counter back on the Walking Ballista, and you just keep going off and off and off and off. And so the problem with this is I actually think Ballista was fine. Pioneer was a good place for Ballista. I think it was Heliod that was the problem. But the problem is Heliod is a new card, and they don't want to ban their new cards, excluding the next one that's going to be coming up. So I think they wanted to keep Heliod in place, so that way people could still do some sort of like life gain synergy decks, and they decided to take out Ballista. Personally, I would have left Ballista. I would have taken out Heliod, and because Ballista is just a good card to be that can be included in any deck. But then again, if they're trying to open up deck diversity, taking out the colorless card is going to open up the deck diversity more. So I guess that's the reasoning for banning Ballista. Underworld Breach also gets a ban, so this is a huge one as well. There was Underworld Breach combo that was just able to keep going and playing things from your graveyard. Basically between Inverter of Truth and Underworld Breach, those were the primary combo decks in the format. So they basically just killed every combo list that was in Pioneer. So just killed it. So Pioneer is now a brand new meta, very open, huge for the format, huge for the format. Historic, Wilderness Wreck, Teferi both catch a ban. I think this is good. Wilderness Wreck was starting to take over that format as well, and Teferi is just, it breaks the game of Magic. So I'm okay with that, with those being banned, but still, this is impactful, but not nearly as impactful as Pioneer or the standard bannings are. And then Brawl Teferi is banned. I don't think it needed to happen. Teferi is fine. I mean, I guess if you're going to be running it as your commander in Brawl, I guess that could be an issue. But I honestly think Teferi in Brawl was fine. It really, Kanan is the one that everyone's playing right now in Brawl. So having Teferi banned, I don't know. It feels weird. I think they could have left that one in, but still, huge bannings. Needed to talk about it. I think you guys, if you've been not playing Standard or Pioneer for a while, I think it's time to get back into it, because it's huge changes happening in the meta right now before rotation. So again, guys, I'm Debo with LandSego.com. I appreciate you checking out this you know, stream of thought style video, but it was just something that we needed to get out there quick. It's a huge announcement, and hopefully we'll talk to you guys again real soon. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching our content. If you liked our video, you'll probably like these as well. And if you would, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And in the description below, you'll find our TCG affiliate link, where you can buy the cards that you need while also supporting us, LandSego, and our show.